A great city was besieged, and its inhabitants were called together to consider the best means of protecting it from the enemy. A bricklayer earnestly recommended bricks as affording the best material for an effective resistance. A carpenter, with equal enthusiasm, proposed timber as a preferable method of defense. Upon which a courier stood up and said, "Sirs, I differ from you altogether. There is no material for resistance equal to a covering of hides, and nothing so good as leather." Moral, every man for himself. Oh my God. Alright, this is Folk Tales for Grown Folks. I am Brother Hatim. I am reading from Aesop Fables, translated by George Fowler Townsend. And of course, you know, this is G-Army Journey Radio. A Heart of a Simba Productions, where we strive to blow up those old paradigms. Man. Now, this is one of the unbalanced 7 that we talk about in Giame. Greed. So we have a city under siege. And for those that don't understand what siege means, we have a city that's being attacked by an outside force. And in the old days, when warriors would come and try to get your city, they would besiege it. If your city had a wall, they would besiege, which meant that they would basically sit around the building and block any resources from coming in and block anybody from coming out. And they would just hit at the walls as long as they possibly could, to either the walls broke or the people surrendered. And once the gates or the walls were broke or the people surrendered, the army would come in, take over, and take everybody's life. Now, we're looking at a situation where the people inside are looking for things that would be useful for their survival. And everybody's in the same boat, because if the military get it, if the enemy army gets inside these walls, they're going to kill indiscriminately until they are given the word to stop. So it don't matter whether you a bricklayer, it don't matter whether you a carpenter, it don't matter whether you're a courier, it don't matter whether you are a mule tradesman or a salt merchant or a landlord. It doesn't matter. They're killing indiscriminately, and they're coming in and they're trying to get as much what they used to call booty as possible. I know y'all like, Brother Hatim, yeah. I mean, you know, because when we use a lot of these old words, we see where a lot of the uses have come out from. So they used to be called booty, when they used to get in and they would get all of they look for all the valuables, because you got to remember, these soldiers wasn't necessarily getting regular pay. It wasn't like they could go to their email account and get their check like we could do today. They didn't have direct deposit. No, they got paid coins in hand, and they marched a long way from home. So you have histories, you have armies that would leave and be gone for 1 to 15 years, right? So I'm looking for all the gold, all the silver, all the valuables that I could carry for myself, because when I go back home, I am going to be rich. That's my goal. I'm coming in, I'm destroying, I'm taking everything. So we had these 3 tradesmen sitting inside, and all of them are using this inopportune moment to hype up their business. Everybody about to die. I want you to think about that. Everybody is about to die. And we have these tradesmen hawking their wares. We need stones, we need wood, and we need hides. We need them all, because we have to build something to protect ourselves. And everybody wants to, I'm surprised the salt merchant is standing up and say, hey, we could just pile salt up in front of the gates if you give me 3 pence per pound. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. See, we can do better than this. See, because it's like we have built a world through this Western paradigm where it's always every man for himself. I mean, for most of us, that makes sense. It's every man for himself. I got to figure out how I'm going to make a come up off of this. Everybody's about to die. If they get the carpenter's child, they may kill the carpenter's child. If they get the bricklayer's child, they're going to kill the bricklayer's child. They're going to kill your wife. They're going to rape your wife and your children. And right now, you're thinking about these you're thinking selfishly. You're thinking about you. Now, how does this fit into our lives today? Many of us, we are in dire situations. We don't admit it. We don't even recognize it no more. You know what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is that like I just heard this statistic. 50% of the kids in the public school system nationwide are in poverty. So if 50% of the children are in poverty, that means that 50% of the parents are in poverty. But we don't recognize this fact. You know what I'm saying? We're being besieged. We're being besieged, and everybody is holding their cards close to their chest. When we are approaching a point in time in this culture where we need to start exposing our cards. We need to start exposing what's wrong. We need to start talking about what's real, but everybody is hawking their wares. We have Republicans hawking their truth and their principles. We have the Democrats hawking their liberalism. You know what I'm saying? We have teachers teaching towards a test and not really educating our children. You know what I'm saying? We have corporations causing wars because that's what we had war for. You know what I'm saying? Our military is being holed out. Yes, my fault. I know. I'm sorry. This is not the show for that. But here we go. The piece is, it's a time and place for everything. When everything is stable and everything is good and we have a minimum amount of security, it's time to hawk your wares. But when the gates are being besieged, don't do that. When your gates are being besieged in your company, don't do that. When the gates are being besieged at your home, don't do that. We could do better, grown folks. We got to set examples for our children, and sometimes this means that we have to sacrifice. And one of my favorite quotes that you often hear me say from the African openness to the tree of life is, those that are not willing to sacrifice will not be fulfilled. And none of these dudes in this story, none of these tradesmen will be fulfilled. They're not willing to sacrifice. So what's going to happen is that them gates are going to fall, and because the stonemason is arguing with the carpenter, and the carpenter is arguing with the leather dude, nothing's going to get done. So they're going to run right through their gate and kill everybody. Who's at your gates? This is Brother Hatim saying, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Giami Journey. This is a Heart of a Simple production, where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Be sure to check us out on Thursday for our Thunderous Thursdays. Peace, this is Brother Hatim, and you have joined us on Giami Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.giamijourney.com.
Yo, this is Quasi Low in the Cap City, and you are listening to Giami Journey.